Okay, so today I am really excited because today is the day I start teaching a little bit of math. I'm really excited about that. So I'm doing math 4 groups this morning, and this afternoon what we're going to be doing is integrating reading writing into our social studies unit. So we're doing colonial times. So we're going to present the kids with different colonies, and they're going to be put into groups, and they're going to have to kind of do some research on it and make some presentations and then the kids are going to get to kind of jot down some notes that they've learned about various colonies. The idea is just to kind of get them familiar on what is a colony. And then from there, they're going to, later on this week, start creating their own little family within the colony of our classroom. So it's going to be really cool, really exciting. I have a really good book that, well, I'm hoping it's going to be a really good book. The reviews are really good, and the synopsis is really good. So let's just hope that it all kind of works out the way that I want it to work out. So I have a really good book that's going to be coming in hopefully today or tomorrow, and then that's going to be presented on Wednesday. So the 4 groups that I have for math like this week, one group is on 3 shapes. So they are on identifying, this is 2nd grade math, so they're on identifying the characteristics of like 3D shapes. I have 2 groups. Both groups are kind of on a little bit of a different step, but I have one group that's just working on long division. The 2nd group is working on long division with remainders. And then the last one that I have is they're doing multiples of 10s. So multiplying like 3 times 20, and then 20 times 50, and then 50 times 100, so on and so forth. So I have a couple of things that I already have had kind of planned. I just need to get them all ironed out, printed out, and ready to go for today. It's so funny how nervous I feel like going back and starting to teach math because like I just feel like I'm a little bit out of practice. But I have my lessons ready to go. I have all of the materials kind of right there sitting on my table. So everything's ready to go for the kids this morning. I put up a morning message, nothing really special, just asking them what they really enjoyed about the track meet. So the bell has officially rung. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my door, and then I will talk to you guys a little bit later on so that you can see what exactly I did for math this morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Today is going to be a very busy day for me. So I have kids who are going to be finishing up their DRAs. I also have a meeting this morning at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to be gone for half of the morning. Well, half of the day, and then I'll be back in the afternoon. The kids are going to be finishing up their presentations. Hopefully I can get in a couple of more DRAs. I have about 7 DRAs that I need to get done now. So I have to do 7 DRAs this afternoon. Hopefully I can fit that in, and then on top of that, my allergies are like going through the roof. I am like sneezy McSneezers. Like I just keep sneezing, which I feel like I'm about to sneeze right now. So my allergies are going through the roof at the moment, which is not fun, which makes it a little bit difficult to function when you're sneezing so much. So I'm gonna try to get through this day as well as the great as I possibly can. It is what it is. But I have like a very foggy head this morning, and you know that feeling where you're just like, you're like scratching with the back of your throat with your tongue. It's kind of what I got going on right now. So I'm sorry I did not vlog a lot yesterday. The only reasons I did not vlog it was because I ended up getting my allergies started getting bad, and then we ended up just having a conversation at the end of the day, and then I pretty much just left. I was just very tired. And that's okay because I just got back from a trip where I drove all of Sunday, so to get back to Pennsylvania. By the way, the wedding was very beautiful. It was very nice seeing a lot of family. I think the most exciting thing was, yes, seeing my sister get married. That was cute and exciting. But I was really excited to be able to go to the Scholastic Warehouse with Mr. G. So you see my box right there? I still haven't even put it away. Now, we did peek in it yesterday because the kids got really excited. So I have to put up a like they have to put their name into little buckets for each of the books because so many of them want so many of the books. And I think the one that's like the most exciting, which Mr. G found another copy versus how many I found. Come on, legs. So I think that the most exciting part of all of it is that we found these, which look really cool. I'm all into like the creepy crawly, so I like these types of things. I don't know why, I just do. Anyways, but it's cool because they're all individual stories from what Mr. G is telling me, and then you read through, it's like a mystery. But the coolest part is that in like while you're reading, the kids are given a website and a password, and then they go to that website and password and they watch a video that goes along with the actual book. How perfect is that? So I thought that was super cool. I got 3 of them so far, and that was exciting. So I got a lot of things. I didn't even realize that Mo Willems had like his final book, the thank you book. Really excited about that one too. Ooh, and I love this series, this book series. So we found a hat. It was a great book. So love those. So I've got lots of books. I was really excited about that. But right now, I need to not be doing that. I need to write my sub-plans because I don't have my sub-plans done. So I'm going to go ahead and take this time to write my sub-plans, get everything out for her. I don't really have a lot going on this morning because we have a presentation that is called Fuel for Thought. I've never seen the presentation, so the kids are going to be going to Fuel for Thought until 10:35, and then after that she's going to have a couple of math groups, and I will finish out the other 2 math groups in the afternoon, that we're going to have like a little chunk of time to be able to do that. So that's what I'm going to do, is write my sub plans, get everything ready for her so that I can get going this morning. I would really like a cup of coffee, so I think I'm going to make me a cup of coffee first because I am not functioning right now. I'm not functioning. Could you imagine being like a nurse or a doctor and feeling like this? How could you function in life if you were feeling like this? I don't know. At least like as a teacher, I could just kind of wave through the day, you know what I mean? But I couldn't imagine having one of those jobs. No thank you. Okay, I'm gonna start rambling. I hope that you guys are having a really good day. I'm gonna go make coffee. I'm gonna write my sub plans, get everything ready for her, and then I'm gonna show you guys something that I made for my little geometry group. The other group is kind of working. I have like 2 division groups that are working right now, and I just created like a little spinner pad, and I can show you that too once I get all of the plans ready to go. So they're kind of working on a little spinner pad. The other ones are just kind of working on multiples. I'm just going to give them the opportunity to write on the desks because that is just by far the best and the coolest thing on the face of the planet, is just to write on the desk. So she's going to give them problems and they're going to write on the desk, and I'm going to just have the kids go up to the board and be able to solve those problems for them. So that's what I'm going to do. That's kind of like the game plan for math today. And then the afternoon, the kids are finishing up their Colonial research using the road mapping strategy that I've given them. So they're road mapping their articles, they're going through, they're finding that information, and they're pulling it together into a presentation, really making sure that their writing and everything is just kind of all on point. And then they're going to get to present it. Hopefully they'll get to present it today. If not, they're going to have to do it tomorrow, which puts us back a little bit further. Really and truly, we only have 1 more week to be able to do anything Colonial, and we really want to do this little unit, so we're trying to get it in as much as possible. So hopefully we'll be able to fit that in. Cross your fingers for us. And I'm also thinking that we may have some attire to be wearing for Colonial Day. I don't know, we'll see. You'll have to wait on that one. Okay, I'm gonna go write my plans, get my coffee. Bye. So I'm going to show you guys what it is that I have set up for the sub, just to kind of lay everything out, and then I am off to go and go to my meeting, and hopefully I'll have some time right afterwards so I can go and stop and pick up some allergy medicine because my eyes are like dry and itchy and I'm sneezing and it's just an awful feeling. So let me show you what I left for her. So here is what I left for her today. So I have my sub plans here. It just kind of goes over the beginning of the day, how we set up our classroom. I talk about the morning meeting here, and just morning work and just some things that I need her to do as far as like housekeeping things. And then it talks about the Fuel for Thought meeting. Then she has group 1 and group 2. I give her the example division problems in there, and then just to kind of tell her that you take them to lunch after that, and then she is free to go because I will be back to pick them up from lunch and recess. So I left that all there for her. Then I have my folder that she's going to send the attendance with, and I didn't put an attendance thing because I leave them right there, and my students now take attendance for me, so I don't even bother with pulling it out anymore. So I even left it in there too. I said that one of the students will end up taking attendance, so don't worry about it. Then just to make sure that put it in here and have one of the students take it down. She's gonna give these little packets to some of my kids who need to finish taking their DRAs, and then any of the group work and stuff is gonna be in here. Left her some expo markers and some erasers, and then these are for an activity that the kids are doing with the little spinners. So all that's left for her. She's pretty much ready to go. The room is fairly picked up. I do have a few things over here that I really need to kind of put away, but I'm just going to wait until later on in the day. And then this is all my stuff that I need to take with me. So now that's done. I did leave just a really quick morning message, just reminding them to show pride. Pride is just kind of what our school does. I left them that on the whiteboard just to remind them to show pride this morning, that they are not going to have morning meeting and that I will be back right after lunch to pick them up. And I left them their targets that they have to get completed. So we're not really doing a ton of targets anymore, only because they're doing a lot in the afternoon as far as with this Colonial project, which we are very excited about. And I found a really good book, and I really do need to get going, but I'm okay. I found this really good book, and it's Homespun Sarah. And what's really cool about it is that it's actually about a girl in a colonial life in Pennsylvania, which is neat because this is exactly what we have to like, that's the standard that we're trying to hit. So I'm really excited about this book, so I'm going to be showing that to her. Found it on Amazon. It was used, so it's a little bit worn, but it's loved, it's good, and it works. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go. I will see you guys hopefully right after the meeting, be able to pick up something. I really would like to go to Target to go pick up some medicine so that I am not snizzling all day long. I will talk to you guys right after my meeting, so I will see you later. Bye. So quick update. I got out of my meeting a little early, so I decided, since I don't live very far, that I would just come home. So I came home, and it was the cutest and sweetest little thing because I'm sitting downstairs talking with my husband, and all of a sudden here comes my little boy screaming with his like arms wide out open saying, "Mommy!" He was just so excited and so happy to see me because I don't usually come home in the middle of the day. So we were able to have lunch. We just heated up some leftovers, and it's about time for me to be heading back. So I'm gonna head back to school, get a little bit of minutes in before the kids I pick them up, and then figure it out to what it is that I need to be doing and assess the situation there. So I'm gonna head back to school, so I'll see you guys once I'm back. So for one of my groups, I have them working on second grade 3D shapes, just because that's where they are. So I have them working on 3D shapes, and y'all, I love me some 3D shapes. So this is probably one of my favorite things that I taught in kindergarten. So I kind of whipped out some of the knowledge that I had in kindergarten. We're kind of reviewing some of those things. And I think the standard, if I'm correct, for second grade 3D shapes is that they just have to understand the characteristics of the 3D shapes and of course name them. So what I made last night is one of these. It's just a little book, and then they're gonna actually cut onto the little dotted lines to be able to make them into little flip books. So when they open it, what they'll see is one of these. So it'll say, it looks like, and then I have little pictures. Today what they got to do was glue down the actual words on the very front of it. So we went through, we talked about the actual shape itself, we glued down the word that is here, and I have these right here that I've been using. So we've been talking about the shapes. I had the kids like, you know, just give me some of the characteristics, and there are 3 girls in this group. So they gave me the characteristics of those shapes and then glued down the actual name of it. Then tomorrow what they'll get to do is we're going to talk about some of these, and I'm actually going to pull out some actual objects, like real objects, and we'll talk about and start matching them up. And then I'm going to give them these to where they're going to be able to glue those down here. So they'll be able to glue them down here to figure out which one does it match with. Then at the bottom, we're going to talk about those vertices, the faces, and the edges. They already know what vertices and edges are, and they're really good with that. As far as the faces go, they've caught on pretty quick, and some of them are already like giving me how many faces there are, but a lot of the times they'll forget to count the one at the very bottom, which is typical. So the very back of it is the experiment portion of it. So then they're going to be able to figure out and just kind of manipulate and play with them a little bit to see, does it slide, does it roll, and then can you stack it. So that's what we're going to be doing. They're going to complete this, and we'll see how they do overall with remembering some of those. I do want to create some type of really quick like flashcards where they're just going to look at it and be able to tell me what shape it is. So I want to create it with the actual shape that itself, and then I also want to create some with just like real world objects that they have, and they have to tell me what shape that is. So I want to create some of those so that when they come to group, one of our little quick warm-ups that we would do is I would just have that little flashcard set, and we would just kind of roll through that, so to get them that practice of that repetition and just recognizing, simple basic recognizing. As far as my other groups went, I literally had just expo markers here. I had a list of problems, and then some of them I had them just practicing some of those division facts on the tables. They really enjoy writing on the table. They find it fun. So they wrote in the tables, they were practicing some of those division facts. I have a few of them that are ready for quick checks. So if they complete their quick check and they do well on it, then they get to move on to the next portion, the next unit. So that's kind of how my partner teacher has set up math, and it's working out phenomenal. I love it. It's a great way of doing it. So it works out perfect. I have to go and get my kids. So I will talk to you guys a little bit later. I am working on something that I want to give out to the other teachers for next year. So I'm trying to pull that together. So hopefully I can get that together by the end of the day so that I can show you guys what it is that I want to send in their portfolios. I have been cleaning up like a bad woman, and my eyes are really like dark around, now that I'm like standing in this light, my eyes are super dark. And it's mainly because of my allergies, because I've been rubbing at my eyes so much today, but I don't feel as bad as what I did this morning, which is good. And we have more medicine. I think it was either shipped from either shipped or it arrived today. I'm not really sure. Hopefully it arrived. That would be nice. If not, then I'm gonna have to suffer another day because I refuse to go out and spend the money on it. I have been cleaning up like a mad woman today, and my room looks so much better. I do have a few books that I need to put the labels on and get those put up, but other than that, my room is looking so much better. Ignore that like stuff that I need to put away right there. You guys are probably like, she's talking about the room, look at that mad stuff. That's stuff that we have to put away for next year. So I'm just gonna ignore that mess for just right now. But other than that, my stuff is looking pretty nice. So let me show it to you. I was in a serious cleaning mood, and now all of this is pretty much done. I ended up moving the chairs over here because it being over there and the other one being on this side, it was just kind of cluttering up everything, and the kids didn't have any space to like move. So I just put those over there because the other chairs were breaking, which was kind of sad because they try to lean back on them and what have you. So yeah, dealing with it, it's fine. We'll fix that next year. But all of this ended up getting cleaned off. I ended up moving the stuff that was here. There was a big like Elmo projection there that I returned back to its owner. Have all this little area stuff over here cleaned up. I do have a box down there that has like things that I don't want anymore, but I don't know what to do with it. Like our school doesn't really have a spot for it to go. Like at my old school, I used to be able to like put that in a different room, and like teachers got to look and scrounge for stuff, but we don't have space here. These are my read aloud books. These are books that I need to get organized. I want to do the exact same thing that I ended up doing with my professional development books, and let me show you that. So I have these professional development books here, and then I have these paint sticks that I got from like either Lowe's or Home Depot, one or the other, and I'm gonna put labels on there for our professional development books. So that's gonna go there, and I almost want to do the exact same thing here. but I go back and forth with how I want to organize them, because in kindergarten, the way I ended up doing it was I did it by like theme. So I would have certain themes together there, and I think that's a really cool idea. And what I could do is just end up putting the stickers like I have for my library over here on this side. So my stickers that I have here that have the genres, look at that. And they're like all falling over. I don't know what the kids did with all my books. I think a lot of them have them. So I'm just gonna have to deal with that. Sad. There's my really awesome invention thing. It looks great. But anyways, so there's all the stickers there, and I want to put those stickers that represent genres onto the picture book so that we kind of know what genre each of the picture books are, and then have it organized maybe by theme or maybe like my month or something to that extent. I'm not really sure yet, but that's the idea. Still messy. When I was teaching in kindergarten, I taught by theme. So I had a tendency to do, you know, if when we're talking about our harvest, we did a harvest theme. When we were talking about, you know, 5 senses, we did a 5 senses theme, like those types of things. And I would incorporate literature and informational into those themes. But being in 4th grade, when I first came into 4th grade, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did in kindergarten. It's gonna be great. Can't really do that in 4th grade. So I realized that really, really quick that that's not gonna happen. So the way that I teach in 4th grade is I teach more by genres. So I will start with realistic fiction, and we'll go into character traits, and we'll go into summarizing. From realistic, we'll go into traditional. From traditional, we'll go into informational. From informational, we'll go into historical fiction. And then my whole goal for next year is to really make sure that poetry is kind of woven in through all of those, because you can find some poetry that has kind of a realistic fiction feel to it. You can have that, find that poetry that has that historical fiction, like those types of elements that are incorporated into it. And I feel like that's going to be more beneficial for my kids and more authentic for them, I guess is the way I should say it. So that's what I'm kind of working on. Hopefully it'll all work out. That's going to be my next year's plan, except it's going to change just a tad bit, because we are going to be very project based, and it's going to be more like how I'm teaching this week, where I have my math groups and then I'll teach math, but then once we start going into reading and writing and our science and social studies time, it's all going to be kind of integrated and woven throughout. So if we're, you know, talking about our plants and stuff like that, I might find some like historical fiction or something. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't planned it all out, but I want it to be very woven in. So it may end up being that we talk a lot more about informational throughout the year as we're going through with the other units. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So that's kind of my game plan, but we'll see. But I'm really pleased with how my room looks. My room was looking crazy. I did take down all of the, I don't know if you saw, like up here, I had a bunch of trees, and they're like, they were up here and were like right in front of me as well. Like I put the kids' trees up there, but we're gonna be getting ready to give them all of their things very soon. So those came down. And now my room looked a little bit more bare. Like my partner teacher came in and she was like, why is it so clean? What's happened? Why, was there something here? And I'm like, yeah, I took down stuff and I moved chairs. Like that was pretty much it. But overall view, I think it looks rather nice. Look at that. Looks good. All nice and clean. And so here, look what I found. That thing was underneath a desk. It was under that desk over there. That big black desk right underneath that big part. It was underneath it. And I'm like, no wonder we can't find a stinking sippy cup. So when I brought my son one day, he must have stuck it underneath there. So now I need to take that home. Hopefully get it as clean as possible. We'll see. May end up getting trashed. So I am continuing to do math next week. This week. So I am continuing to do math tomorrow. I have a couple of kids who are ready to do a quick check tomorrow. So hopefully they'll be moving on to the next unit that they will be working on, depending on how well they do on their quick check. And then, so I'm continuing to do division, and then I have the multiples group. Hopefully that multiples group will be able to take some type of a quick check so that I can check to see how they're doing. I may end up giving it to them tomorrow just to kind of get a feel for how they're doing and who needs to be where and what have you. So probably gonna do that with them tomorrow. Then for the remainder of the day, the kids are going to be presenting, and hopefully from that presentation they're going to start going into like creating their families. So we're going to give them information about their jobs that were available during those times, during the colonial times. And we have someone who is absolutely so wonderful at our school because she does like the reenactments, which is amazing, and I would love to do something like that. But she does these big reenactments, so she's bringing us clothing for us to wear on the days that we kind of do that next week, which will be really cool. So that'll be next week, which I'm excited about. And then the last week, y'all have 2 weeks, like on Thursday is my 2-week mark. That's it. That's crazy. But then on Tuesday for our last week, because we have Memorial Day off, so on Tuesday we're gonna have just kind of a fun outside kind of day with the kids. And then we're gonna come in and kind of do our cleaning up, where the kids are gonna take everything home. We're gonna have them clean out all the cubbies. You know, I like to have them Clorox wipe everything because little germs and nastiness, I wanna make sure everything's clean. So they're gonna do that. And then Wednesday is Move the Pride, so we're going to be meeting our new kids, which we don't have rosters yet, so I'm very excited to see. Hopefully this week we will get those. But that's going to be happening on Wednesday. Then Thursday's a half day and it's their last day, and then they leave, and I'm really sad about that. I don't like it. But I'm really excited about some things that are happening this summer. Like I have curriculum rewrite, which is going to be really exciting for me because this is my first time doing curriculum at my school, with any school really, so I'm excited about that. And then I have some other exciting news that I would love to tell you guys, but I can't tell you until it's actually there. So if you're a Patreon person, then you already know what it is, so I've already told you what it is. So yeah, if you're curious about Patreon, definitely go and check it out, guys, because this is where I kind of spill a lot of more of my beans, if you want to say it like that. I spill more beans there. And then I also have these chats that I will do every single month, and I put lots of freebies up on there, just for those people who want to help support the channel and help support me in what it is that I'm doing, and hopefully sharing out with everyone. So I'll leave that down below so that you guys can go and check that out. So yes, my room is looking pretty stinking nice. Pretty nice. Oh, I did, and I can't remember if I showed you guys this book, but very excited about this. This is Homespun Sarah, which was so cute. It's about a girl in colonial life. Look at that. It's some old ones, but a girl in colonial life who you just kind of follow her throughout her day, and it just kind of talk about what she does. And it's very simple text. Like, it's not a lot, so you have to do a lot of inferring and really observing the pictures. And she is going through this life, and it talks about her life in this colony, and as she is getting a new dress. So it gives you a little bit information in the author's note that the girls only had one dress, and they had that one dress, and that was the one dress that they wore every single day, and they didn't get a new dress until the other dress didn't fit. So really, really cute. But we're going to use this as our historical fiction text for our colonial periods. And then we have an informational text, which I'm really excited about because it talks about an area that is close to me. So it is the Road to Independence, a story at Yorktown, which is pretty cool. So excited about that. I have all of that stuff ready to go. I need to create. We have rubrics ready for our colonial time, and I can show you that. Oh, I almost dropped my soda. But here's what our rubrics look like. It's nothing fancy. I took this idea from another teacher with just using something very simple and then having weaknesses and then strengths, because I will just sit there and just write down what are some of the weaknesses in each of that area, that criteria area that I made sure that they need to have, and what were some of the strengths that they had. So this is what they were supposed to have for their presentation, and then we have the weaknesses and strengths. So as they're presenting, we're just going to be kind of jotting these things down, and the kids are going to have a sheet that I need to create for them. The kids are going to have a sheet where they're going to be writing information that they learned from it, and then they're going to get to rate the entire presentation at the very end of it. So I think that's pretty cool. But that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So I need to go home and get that done, and I need to finish creating a bunch of stuff. So I'm gonna go home and do that in front of the TV and my jammies, because that's the best way to do it. Grade stuff in front of the TV with my jammies. I just don't understand how people do a lot of grading at school. I just don't have time to grade at school. Like, I'm constantly either in a small group or I'm constantly with student, and I don't understand. Like, kudos to those people. You guys have figured something out that I am unable to figure out, because I'm constantly with kids and I just can't do it. And at the end of the day, by golly, I just want to go. So I'm not going to sit around and grade. I gotta go see my kids. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go see my kids and grade, hopefully us watching a movie. Split is out on DVD. Hopefully we're gonna get to watch that very, very soon. I really want to watch Split. That's been on my list, and we don't go to movie theater. Please don't make fun of me. So we don't go to the movie theater, so I want to watch Split, and it's out on Redbox. It's out on Redbox, so I'm really excited about that. So hopefully we'll be able to see that very soon this week. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday morning. So I want to show you guys really quick something that I do for my field trips, and I've been doing this, gosh, I think for like the past 3 years out of the 5 years that I've been teaching, 3 or 4 years that I've been teaching. And it is to create some type of a little baggie. So I give the chaperones a little bag whenever they come to chaperone for the field trip. And inside of this bag, I put all of the different little necessities. And the reason I started doing this is because I taught kindergarten, and let's just face it, like in kindergarten, they're gonna have boo-boos, they're gonna get really dirty, they're gonna have like things that happen. So I want to make sure that I was always as prepared as possible. And because there were so many of them, and that it was really hard to kind of wrangle everybody and keep everybody in a little bitty group, I wanted to make sure that the chaperones had everything that they need in order to be able to attend to the kids that they were chaperoning. So that I wasn't having to go all over the place and be like, oh, let me give you something. Oh, let me give you something. Oh, let me get you. It was just way too much to handle. And I wanted to be more of the manager versus me being the person that was completely and solely responsible for everybody. And yes, I was responsible for them, but at the same time, I didn't want to worry about every single kid needing to have a wipe. I didn't want to worry about every single kid needing a like hand sanitizer or a band-aid. It just wasn't something that I wanted to like focus all of my attention on. So I gave that job to my chaperone. I don't have them totally completely done yet, but I am going to be finishing them up for this video because my field trip itself is actually on Friday, which today is Wednesday, so I only have one more school day before I actually have the field trip. So I need to go and grab all of the little bits and pieces and start putting them together for my actual bags. But my bags were kind of crummy, and at the very beginning, like, please don't even think that I was doing something this fancy, because I was definitely not doing something this fancy. What I would do actually is I had a quart-sized gallon Ziploc bag, and that's what I stuffed everything in. But now recently I started to kind of invest in something a little bit more, I guess is what you can say. So I have these little zippy bags. So they're just zippy bags. Almost has like that mesh look to it, but it's kind of clear. They all look exactly the same. Nothing special to them, but it's nice because I can reuse them every single year. And it's also nice because a lot of the times they don't use everything that's inside of the bag, so that I don't have to refill it. The only things that I have to change inside of it are going to be like the chaperone list and like the schedule of what we're going to be actually doing, because I will give every single chaperone one of these, and inside of it they'll have their chaperone list. They will, so the kids who they are like in charge of, they're gonna have my contact information, and then they're also gonna have a schedule and a map of where it is that we are and where we are going. So they'll have all of that stuff in here. I'll send out a message to parents and say, hey, if you are chaperoning, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you are going to be joining us. Please remember to be here on time. And at the same time, I ask them to bring some type of a bag, because I don't want them to carry this around in their hands the entire time. So that way they could just throw it in a bag, and then they don't have to worry about it. But when the kids do need something, they can easily take it out, or if they need to refer to one of the papers, again, they can take it out because they know exactly where it's going to be. So I love these. I'm gonna leave a link to these in my Amazon store. It's the perfect size. It's like it's an A5 size, like it's half a sheet of paper, I think. But it's the perfect size for me, and I really like that it's clear, it's simple, there's not like too much fanciness. And y'all, I'm just a little bit weird, and I know this, but I can't handle like having all the different colors. Like, I didn't want to have like a red, a blue, a green, an orange, purple, blah blah blah. I didn't want that. Like, I wanted them all to be exactly the same. So I have them all exactly the same, and it makes my heart happy, because what I have is inside of it, like they'll have like chaperone number 1, chaperone kit number 2, chaperone kit number 3. Like I have a little label that I put on it so that I can keep track of which ones did I get back and which ones am I missing. And it just makes it easier for me to be able to say, oh, this person has this. Because whenever I actually write my list to be able to say that, you know, this is who you're chaperoning, I will attach a number to each of those people, and I have that paper too, and I have that document with me. So if I didn't get chaperone bag number 3, I could easily contact that person and say, hey, I know it was really crazy in the afternoon, and thank you again so much for helping us and joining in on our field trip, but will you please remember to return that bag so that I can use it for the next year's field trip. And it makes it easy because it never failed that I was always have a parent who would keep all my stuff. So to prevent that, I just name my bags, I number my bags, and then I number my parents, which is awful, but it's okay. So I wanted to show you guys this really quick because I was really excited about these. So I just ended up getting off the phone with my partner teacher, and I was calling to tell her that it was about to be the worst day ever. Worst day ever. Because I don't have any K-cups for my coffee. She is so sweet because she's actually going to Starbucks, so she's gonna pick me up a coffee, which is gonna make my heart feel so much better. I just need a coffee this morning. That'll keep me going. So I have pretty much everything ready for my groups today. Actually, I think I do have everything ready for my groups today. So like I said, I'm teaching 4 math groups. One of them is multiples. And so that group, just to kind of get a gauge of like where they are and how they're doing, I'm gonna give them just a really quick, like a quick check today. So I have quickly just kind of pulled up just some numbers, and I've put them on a little PowerPoint sheet for half a page, and then I've printed them and cut them out, and they're all ready to go. So here is what the actual quick check looks like. So this is what they're going to take today for me to be able to kind of get a gauge of where they are and how they're doing. If they do well, then they get to move on. If they're not doing well, then we're just going to kind of hold them back and continue working on it and practicing with it. The other group is going to continue working on division, so they're doing little division with the spinners here. And this is the division with remainders and without remainders. So they're doing both of them. If they're in division with remainders, I actually have 2 kids that are wanting to take a quick check this morning. So we'll see how they do. If they end up doing well, then they'll be able to move out into this group. If not, then they are going to continue practicing, so depending on how they do with that. So I need to get those quick checks going as well. So we're going to be reading Homespun Sarah today, and this I think I'm just going to create kind of an anchor chart to go along with it, just so that we can talk about the setting and then what are some of the things that Sarah actually did throughout this story, so that we can start kind of having that conversation of what was different and what is different from then to now. Probably one of my favorite lessons. So I'm going to create an anchor chart for that so that we can have that ready to go. And then for their groups, when they're presenting this afternoon, they have just one of these. I really quickly just kind of pulled it up. Didn't do all of the things that they had to put on there, but I just figured that these were some of the most important things that I thought that would be cool to write down. So they're going to write the group name, what natural resource was it, crops that were grown, housing, jobs, and then the fun facts. And then they have space to be able to do it. It's front and back. So that's going to be what they are logging the information in as they're watching the presentations. And then I have the actual rubrics here so that as they're presenting, I can just write down some of their strengths and some of their weaknesses for that. So there it is. I have all of it together. I'm feeling very organized today, and I've got to go. Bye. It has been so much fun watching these kids do their presentations. They actually did a really great job with the presenting. I really like how some of them had their eye contact and they were doing their hands, and it was good. So we, yes, it started yesterday, and what we were having them do is they were researching different regions that had colonies. So they had the New England region, they had the mid-Atlantic, and then they had the southern. So those were the 3 regions that had colonies. They were researching about it, learning about their housing, learning about the jobs, learning about the lifestyle, learning about the natural resources, the crops, all of that type of stuff. And then they had to do a big presentation on it. So the kids have been working really hard on it, and they just finished it. So they were up on the stage, they were doing their presentation, and then we had the other kids who were actually kind of jotting down notes. So it looked like this. So after they finished that, then we kind of started talking to them. We had a good discussion about like, okay, so what do you think, you know, what were some of the things that were similar between some of the regions? What did you notice was different from how we live now to how they lived then? And that kind of sparked a really good conversation with all of them. So then finally I said, you know what, I really think what would be super cool is if we had you guys live that life. And then there was like, oh my gosh. So they're really excited about that. So we put them into their families, and in their families they had to come up with names. So they got to go on, they took a picture of themselves, they kind of cropped up their heads, and they got to find like colonial like clothing, and they just put themselves into a little picture like so. They made themselves into a colonial person using this, and they absolutely were loving that. So that was just a really great fun activity. We ended up the day just kind of them doing some independent tasks on their iPads and just kind of having some like chill down time. I think we had about 15 minutes left. So tomorrow what they're going to get to do is they're actually going to get to research about certain jobs within that time. So not like any old job, not like farmer jobs, because we all know what a farmer does, right? Like that's kind of a given. So I'm not going to do farmer jobs. We're going to review that one a little bit later, just in case we do have some of those kids who don't know what a farmer is. But we're talking about like blacksmith and all of these other like crazy jobs that they had back then that you wouldn't find now, or at least they're not as common as what they were back then. So they're going to get to research about those jobs, and then we're going to have a gallery walk where they're going to pull out information, and they're going to get to be able to pick from some of those jobs on what they want to be in their family. So with all of that said, I'm really excited because I want to show you some really cool stuff. So a teacher within like my school, and I told you guys this yesterday, but a teacher within my school has colonial like clothing, and she does like reenactments and stuff. Well, she brought me my clothes she brought me her clothes that she's allowing me to wear during this next, you know, week. So I'm going to play dress up really quick, and I am going to try the clothes on camera so that you guys can check it out. But it is so cool, and I am so excited about it, so I really want to do it. So I'm gonna try these on, and no, I'm not gonna like get undressed, but you're gonna see me put it over my clothes. So hold on. Okay, so we're gonna have to make this work, I guess. I don't know. So she got all the clothes inside of this bag, and I'm really excited. I don't know the official names of all of them. I have to write them down because I don't know what they are. So she's kind of talked to me a little bit about how to put them on, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. Hopefully I do it right. This is so exciting. I'm so excited. Okay, so she has this, and this is, I know, the piece, like the skirt that goes. My partner teacher has like a fancy version of the dress, like the outside dress that's really like cute. And this is like still cute, but she has like the fancy dress, like the outing dress. Me, I'm gonna be the person who gets like rolls my sleeves up and gets down and dirty. These are supposed to go to my ankles. Okay, let me take off my belt here. All right. Then I have this piece, which she said she has the pins there. So the pins are the things that actually you will pin them on. Okay, so there's that. Okay, then I have the different, I think she said this was a smock, if I understand correctly. And so the way you put these on is you take them here, you wrap them, and then you insert them so you don't see my, and then these, oh my gosh, look how cute I look. Look at that. Oh, gotta go. Okay, but really though, how cute is this? Like, how stinking cute. Can you see that? Like, this is so cute. I'm very, very excited. So this is gonna be my colonial attire. And what we're planning on doing is that in the morning, we're gonna have straightforward, and the reason I'm like trying this on for you now and showing you how I'm putting it on is because I typically can't do it during lunch, just because there's so much crazy that's happening in my classroom during lunchtime. There's no way for me to be able to film during lunch. So what we'll do is we'll have math in the morning like normal, and then at lunch, during our lunchtime, we're gonna end up changing. And so for the remainder of the day, because that's what we're doing for our reading and writing and for our social studies units, we're integrating it, is that we're gonna be dressed up like this for the entire time. So the kids are gonna be able to see us like this, which will be very, very exciting for them, hopefully. it'll get them all excited. But yes, I'm really excited. It's really cute. So I'm now gonna get undressed and I'm gonna go home to see my family and spend time with them because it's absolutely beautiful outside. And every time I would walk out and I would see the door and I'm like, oh, sunshine, I would get very distracted. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will catch up with you guys in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It is now Thursday. Field trip is tomorrow. The weekend is almost here. I am very, very tired. Although I am feeling better because we finally got Zyrtec. So I have not been sneezing this morning, which is a bonus. So I stopped at Walmart this morning because I needed to get a couple of things for the chaperone bags that I was talking about yesterday. So I stopped and I did get a couple of things that I needed. So I needed the wet wipes. I always put some wet wipes in there because you never know when their hands are gonna get icky, if they're gonna touch something and it's just gross and you're like, ugh. Or when they have snotty nose and this crusty nose, ooh, it's gross. So I know that happens a little bit more in kindergarten than what it does in 4th grade, but you just never know. So I got some wet ones. And then I also got, if I can find it, I got coffee too, because I needed coffee. Do y'all remember my little heart attack that I had with coffee? So I couldn't find the normal ones that I typically would buy. Like I would typically buy the Germex version, and I think they're a little bit bigger than this. I got the little bitty hand sanitizers. They were the exact same price, except it has this like little rubber thingy on it, and I'm actually going to take the rubber off because they don't need it. There's just no point in having it. So I'm going to put this inside of the bag along with the wet ones. And then I also got some Kleenex just in case they need Kleenex. So I'm going to put one of these in there as well. Not only with just that, like I do have a couple of other things that I need to do. I need to like put Band-Aids inside of baggies. And then I also need to get a garbage bag. So I will always put one of these, like 1 or 2 of these inside of the bags just in case, because you never know when you have things that you just need to throw away and then you don't have a garbage bag or anything to put it inside of. So I am going to put a couple of these like shopping bags inside of it so that in case we do need to throw things away, we have bags to be able to put things into. So I'm gonna go ahead and stuff these while I have it all here. I might as well just get it started, and then once I have everything inside of the little bag along with the papers and everything, I'll show you guys exactly what I put inside of my chaperone bags. So I am planning out my day for today and just kind of looking over my checklist that I need to have for the very end of the year. Again, Patreon people, if you have not been on Patreon lately, make sure that you go onto it, because I have an end of the year checklist that you can grab and use within your classroom, so you can kind of keep yourself a little bit more organized during the end of the year chaos, because it tends to get a little bit chaotic. And when I mean a little bit, it actually is like a ton. Like it's incredibly insane. So here's what my plans look like for today. And y'all, when I actually sit down and actually write my plans, like I said, I have like a separate thing that I look at for my actual lessons themselves, and then what I will do from there is I will transfer over just kind of the generic lesson that I have, and then you know, write down any kind of notes that I have for the day. So this presentation ended up getting moved because they just weren't able to get a couple of things done. So we're going to move it to Monday or Tuesday. I have a discovery lesson for one of the groups, so I have to give them that discovery lesson at the very beginning. And And it's something like this. This was something that my partner teacher made, so this was not something I did. But she created like a discovery lesson for them to do, work with, and then whenever they come to group, they're going to review. We're going to just discuss how it is that they actually try to solve this problem. So we have a discovery lesson for one of them. Then two of them, these actually division groups, one of them is with remainders, one of them is without remainders. Now the thing is with this is that they're both getting kind of tricked up on having a 0. So whenever they have like a number that is smaller and they have to put a 0 up at the top and then bring down another number, they always get tricked up. So I may end up combining these two groups and then just going over it and then just having separate problems for each of them. So because it is the exact same thing, they're both getting tricked up on it. So I figured, you know what, why not kill two birds with one stone? And then I have the exploration. We're going to continue using the flip book that we are making right now to kind of explore with their shapes. So they're going to complete this back portion of it as well. Then at the bottom, we didn't get to read Homespun Sarah yesterday because we were running behind. So we're going to read that today, really do our anchor chart for the setting and really what was she doing? What were some differences that they noticed for today? Then they're going to research jobs, create a little poster, and we're going to do a gallery walk, and they're going to have the opportunity to be able to choose their jobs. Tomorrow's, like I said, is the field trip, so it's a wash. But I do have a couple of things that I need to get done for the field trip. As far as like the end of the year checklist that I have going on, I've already submitted my SLO. I've already completed my writing assessments. I do have a couple of DRAs that I need to get done, which is another reason why I want to combine these two groups so that I have some time right here to be able to work on those DRAs. My end of the year meeting is actually this Friday after the field trip. Student assessment folders, once I finish my running records and my writing assessments, I can insert those into my assessment folders and be done. I'm still in the process of completing up the unit master page, which is something that I might work on right now. Induction papers need to get submitted, so I'll do that. Report cards have to be submitted by Friday, next Friday, not this Friday. So I'm actually going to have my writing and my DRA submitted in this weekend and then work on these report cards for next week. That'll be kind of my big goal. And then CUME folders can't be done until after report cards. So the big goal that I really need to have done is my DRAs, my writing assessment, and then I really need to make sure my induction papers get submitted. So once all that's done, I think I'm pretty much good to go. I am working on portfolios right now. So I have kind of a pile of stuff that I am going to be handing out and giving back as we are kind of pulling together like our portfolios and things like that to be able to send home. So some of those things need to get sorted. I know it does not look organized. I promise you it is organized. So please don't judge. So final assessments, all that stuff, that's all going to be kind of in one big swoop here. Actually, all three of these ended up deciding I'm going to do these together. So those are all going to be together. That's one big swoop. That's not going to happen until Tuesday. What did I decide? Tuesday something. Right after Memorial Day. Is that the 1st? No, it's not. When is it? Oh, poops. I put some scratch note paper. That day. The 30th. So that's going to be done on the 30th, Tuesday the 30th. Is when we're going to clean out everything and start sending things home. This as well is all going to be on the 30th. So it's just going to be a big clean out day. So everything for the students is going to be submitted on that day and all cleaned out. I'm just trying to get all this stuff a little bit better put together and make it a little bit prettier so I can send it home. A lot of these other things, let me see. Whoops. A lot of these things, this is not going to happen until the last week. Actually, a lot of this is not going to happen until the very last week of school. So I'm not going to stress out too much about this because this is the last week. This is going to be the last week. So all of that's going to be done in one big swoop. Really, the big concerns are going to be these because these all have deadlines. So that's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. So I have my checklist. I have my lesson plans. Now I need to kind of finish working on some of those. I'm going to go ahead. These are all graded right now, so I'm going to insert those scores into our database that we have to insert them into so that I can kind of put those off to the side and say, whoo, I'm done with you. So I'm going to do that in just a second, and then everything else is pretty much ready. I have these to give it back to the groups. These were the notes that we took. So this was our rubric for our presentation that they had. So they had the group names up there, and then we gave just the weaknesses, their strengths for each of the different criteria areas. And if there wasn't any comments, we just left like a little smiley face. So I'm going to hand these back today. They're going to have an opportunity to be able to discuss it with their family because they're creating families today, and be able to talk about what were some things that they could have done differently, and they'll have the opportunity to share with that. So there's that. There's my book. Everything else is pretty much ready to go. Those are the shapes that I'm using for my geometry lesson. So other than that, I think everything else is pretty much ready. So it is 5:45. And I have been working on getting some of my DRAs graded, getting those entered into the database, which has been really nice. I've had the opportunity to be able to get everything cleaned, and then things getting ready for our field trip tomorrow to the Capitol. So I have together all of the materials for the chaperones, except for 3 bags. So I'm gonna have to, actually my teacher partner is gonna go and grab the items for the 3 bags that we're missing, and she is grabbing a couple of other bags for the clipboards, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in just a second. So I have all of that kind of laid out and ready to go for the morning, so I don't have to stress out about it. It's been really nice because now I have kind of all this area is really organized and clean and neat. Probably doesn't look like that right now, but I promise you it is. So it's been getting a really good feeling just staying a little bit later today and being able to kind of get everything organized and neat. I feel like having one day where you just kind of stay for a little bit later will help you get yourself so much more organized and so much more prepared, and like you just feel like the sense of relief like and weight just come off your shoulders, which is nice. So let me show you what I have. So here are the packs for the parents. So we put down a schedule inside of there. Inside is also the list of chaperones and who they have. We put a pin inside of it, a garbage like grocery bag, tissues, wet wipes, there's band-aids in there, and then there's also hand sanitizer. So I have them all pretty much laid out, and then we're missing 3, so we're going to fill those in the morning. Then what we also have is when we go to the museum, the kids have a little scavenger hunt that they're going to complete. So they have clipboards. And so what we did is we're going to have bags for each of the groups. And then inside those would be the clipboards that they need and their writing utensils. So one person's going to be in charge of carrying this around. It is not heavy at all, which is really nice. But we do need a couple of other bags. So she's going to grab some more bags so that we can put all of those inside of there and then have it very nice and neatly organized. So I really like this. It makes my heart feel good. It makes me feel really, really good about having things organized like this. So that's done. I have that pile right there that you see, this big pile right there, is for next week. These 2 are ones that have already been entered into the databases, sorted by the homeroom. These are the ones that I still need to enter into the database, so that's going to stay there. And for the most part, everything else is pretty clean. That's going to go the last week, so I'm going to finish getting those organized and ready to go for those kiddos to take home. And then everything else looks really, really, the lighting is awful right now, really good. So I'm glad. Those are the clipboards that I still have to put inside a bag, so I left those there so I can just organize that. That's a little project that we're working on back there, so I'm gonna leave that up there. But for the most part, everything else is really organized. So now that I have that ready to go, I'm excited because I get to wear jeans tomorrow since we're going on a field trip. So I'm gonna go and do that. And well, I'm not gonna go like wear jeans right now, but I'm gonna go home and enjoy the rest of my evening, not taking any work home with me, which is a really, 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 really good feeling. So I'm gonna go home, see my kids, enjoy the rest of my evening there, and then I will see you guys on field trip day. It is officially field trip day, and I have just arrived into the classroom, put up my lunch inside of the fridge to help it keep cool. We didn't have any bread, so I had to stop at the gas station and pick up something like a chicken Caesar salad wrap. I hope it's good. Either way, hopefully it'll just make me through it. My dad always said that food is a necessity, so just eat it. That's what my dad said, so I'm just gonna roll with that. So I'm gonna wait for my partner teacher because she has all the other bags and everything else to kind of finish up everything that we need for our chaperones. So chaperone stuff, kid stuff are gonna go in those bags, and then we're gonna be leaving right after announcements. There's really not much for me to like do this morning. I did clean out my backpack just because we are going to be going through security, so like this backpack is super light now. Now that I've like taken out my planner and I've taken out my computer, all of that good stuff, I'm not going to take that with me. I'm just going to take bare bones necessities because I don't want it to kind of weigh me down and me being sick of it by the end of the day, because that bag is kind of heavy, not gonna lie. So I've cleaned out the bag, made sure everything is ready to go for that, and that's really about it. I'm kind of waiting around for just a little bit. I do have a meeting with my principal at the end of the day, so once we come back after the field trip, which is going to be probably, I think, 2:45-ish, 3-ish, somewhere around there. So once we get back from the field trip, sorry, I sat down because I was like up and walking around, my arms are getting tired. Okay, so once we get back from the field trip this afternoon, that's going to be about 2:45, 3-ish in the afternoon. But once we get back from there, I have a meeting at 3:15 with my principal. It's our end of the year meeting, so there's going to be somebody to come in and like cover our class. I think we're just going to have like a snack and a read aloud and just kind of be done with it from there, because the kids are going to be tired anyways from walking around pretty much all day long. So I have a meeting at 3:15. That's like my end of the year meeting, so it's one of my things to check off on my list, which I'm really excited about. And I need for him to sign like my induction papers. So I'm not sure if this is like my district thing or if it's like an actual Pennsylvania thing. I'm almost certain it's a Pennsylvania thing. I'm kind of sort of sure that it's a Pennsylvania thing. But we have something called induction. So if you're a first year teacher, for me, I wasn't a first year teacher, but I'm a first year teacher in Pennsylvania, if you want to think of it that way. You have to go through this process of like, you have these meetings and you have these papers to fill out and you have to like log the times that you meet with your mentor and yada yada yada. So I have to have him sign off on those papers so that I can send those off to our, I guess, district office. I'm not really sure where they go yet, to be honest. I have to ask my little lady, my person, my mentor person, to see where is it that I'm actually supposed to be sending those, but I'm pretty sure I send them to the central office. So I have to send those off, and that's number 2 thing that I can actually get checked off of my list, which is going to be really nice. So I'm excited. I've never gone to where we are going today, which is Harrisburg State Capitol. I think we're also going to go to a museum, but that's really all I know that we're doing. So this will be a really great experience and fun experience for me, so I'm very excited about that. I don't really have a lot to get done right now or to do right now, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sit down with a cup of coffee and I'm just gonna tackle some more of my DRAs. I do need to try to get those in this weekend. Not that they're due this weekend, they're due next Friday, but at least if I get those done this weekend, then I can focus on doing my report card comments, and so I can do report card comments next week and have those done by Friday, if that hopefully all makes sense. So I'm trying to like spread it out a little bit so that I'm not trying to get it all turned in all at the exact same time, because that would be like overload. So after this, we have 1 full week of instruction. Nerve-wracking. So we have next week is our last full week of instruction, and then the following week after that we have Monday off for Memorial Day. Tuesday is our like only like really big day that we have, like 1 full day that we have, and we're gonna do some really fun activities using some of the like blow up things that everybody's been seeing, like the I think it's a bowling set, it's like a toss or some hand toss or something like that. We're gonna do some of those activities outside just to kind of review concepts that we've been learning all year long, which figured that that would be just a really fun activity for them to kind of end the year with. And then Wednesday is our Move the Pride Day. And so we have something called Move the Pride, and if you've been following me for a really long time, then you know that on Move the Pride, we get to meet our next year students. So we should be receiving our class roster this afternoon, which I'm very excited about. So we're gonna sit down this afternoon and kind of just tackle and see which kiddos we got, and you know, just get all excited about next year. So that's gonna be on Wednesday, and then Thursday is gonna be a half day and they're all gone. So it's crazy to think that I only have 1 more week of full instruction, but we're gonna keep giving that instruction and we're gonna keep learning and we're gonna keep doing stuff. So that's what it's important. But I'm excited about today. So I hope that all of you are having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm sorry that I did not upload last weekend. Please forgive me. It was my sister's wedding and it was just crazy, and there was a lot of family, and it was just crazy, and it was crazy, and it was crazy. That's all I can say. So I hope all of you are having an amazing weekend. I am gonna go ahead and end the vlog here because I know that once I get back, I am gonna be like knees deep into my students for next year, because it is gonna be very, very exciting for us. So I will catch up with you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you guys give this video a thumbs up. It really, really helps this video be able to get out and reach other viewers. So please give this video a thumbs up, share it out on Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!
It was donated to our capital by month. After they donated it, their quarries were closed never to be reopened. The stained glass.
What is this called? Town Square?
Village Square.
Village Square. Look how amazing. Yeah?
Did you go through that? This is
I haven't. No, we didn't go through that yet.
You can look underwater.
No way.
Through there's the best one.
Really?